Hello everyone, Tom from Black Studio, and it is time for probably a very long awaited Black Templar Crusade update. I had a fairly busy painting month last month, so we're in October, but it was September I got a lot of this finished, and I was on a bit of a painting drive, and I'll show you how that kind of progressed over the month. However, in front of you here you can see three of my latest squads for my Crusade. So we have two Primaris Crusader squads and also a Intercessor Squad at the back there, which we'll just have a quick look at. So on the left here, this is my Combat Crusade Squad. So as you can see here, the neophytes all have combat weapons, and then I've also done some of the initiates with a couple of power fists in there, and the Sword Brother has a power sword. And then likewise on this side, I decided to do a kind of a shooty version of the Primaris Crusader Squad. So the scouts have the shotguns, and we have a couple of power flamers, and the rest have auto bolt rifles. We're going to build these up to be the full size squads, essentially. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed painting these guys. I'd had these sort of sitting at a semi-started stage for quite a few months, and then I think after our Apocalypse game that we had up the other day, I got into one of these painting grooves where I didn't stop for about 2-3 weeks straight. So I managed to finish off obviously these ones, and then I saw these sitting nearby, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll get these done as well. I mean, obviously the nice thing about the Intercessors, they can sort of blend into the Primaris Crusader Squad if I want to bump this size up without having to paint more or buy more of the Primaris Crusaders. I'm going to anyway, because a couple of people watched my recent videos will have just found that I've kind of, I suppose, committed going towards more Primaris in its entirety, because I find the difference in the models to be very good, but also my painting style's changed so much. I've repainted my basic Crusaders quite a few times, and I don't really want to go through stripping them, so they're going to be there. I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm just not going to add standard squads anymore, so it's going to be a gradual conversion over to getting these up to a similar size. Right, now, obviously, you think 3 weeks worth, that's not that much. However, if you just hang on one moment, I'll be right back with how this suddenly got a bit out of control. So, model number one, after that lot that I just showed you, was I got hold of one of the new plastic kits for the Leviathan. Yeah, I bought this kind of with the proceeds of selling my Grey Knight army, which I did a little while ago now, but I had a few pounds left over from that to spend on a couple of new Black Templar units and just get a couple of things I wanted for them. So I bought this new Leviathan, put a couple of little Black Templar details on this one, and then painted up in the kind of the new way I'm painting my Black Templars with some harsh edge highlighting and some other things like that. I was very happy with how he turned out. I'm sure there could be some more I could do to this guy, but to be honest, for my level of kind of where I want this tabletop wise, I think he's quite good. So anyway, I did that, and because it looks so different from my old painting style, now those of you who've watched the Apocalypse game recently would have seen a couple of these units that I'm about to show you that how they used to look. However, if you go back to a couple of my kind of army videos where I've shown off my entire army, you'll see what they used to look like. I didn't do any before and afters, unfortunately. I probably should have done, but it's one of those things that when I started painting, I just started picking models up, going, oh, I should do this one. So anyway, obviously this one happened first, and having looked at it, I went, all right, I've got to change the paint style of a lot of my vehicles. So this one disappears, and then my existing Leviathan Dreadnought turned up, and he got the same treatment. And I'm so happy with the results, because in all seriousness, I when I looked at the old paints, I was just like, oh, do you know what? I've got to change these. They're just so kind of behind what I can do now. And you know, and I'm not saying that I'm like the best painter in the world, but at the same time, this style that I've done here looks so much better than the previous one. I think it was obviously previously it had some gold and kind of baroque and stuff, and lots of darker colours on it. I think the white that I did on this, I think the previous white I just literally ran over, I think Agrax or non all over the whole thing. It didn't look the way I wanted it to anymore, because I'm preferring this kind of more vivid white on my newer models. So that's what I wanted to go back. So anyway, of course, we're having done that one, I then grabbed another one which I needed to get done, which was the Dio. So this guy here also had the same treatment. This was slightly more difficult to paint, I suppose, mainly because it has a slightly different form to normal Dreadnought. So you've got the centralised bit here, but then there's a lot more weaponry on it. The weapons take a much more proportionate part of the model, in my opinion. So I think there's a few little highlights I can do there, but I'm quite happy with how he's turned out. He looks a lot better than he did. Again, it was a very dirty white I had on it previously, and lots of probably overwashing. I think it was back when I was in like, oh, wash can solve everything, and I think I probably slapped on a bit too much, and it didn't look kind of how I wanted the army to look. And then, of course, because I'm still doing the Dreadnoughts on that, I then grabbed this Contemptor. He is almost finished. He's got a few little details left, and I've got to do the purity seals and a bit of washing and highlighting on the things. This is the one I'm actually working on at the moment. But again, it suits where I want to go with it. However, the other thing that I did manage to get done while doing this, I kind of in between the Dreadnoughts, is I wanted to get my Primaris Primaris Techmarine sorted out, because he'd been in a box for a while. And here he is. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at how this one turned out. I went for quite a simple scheme. I decided to keep him red, and put a Templar, a shoulder pad on, just to mark him as that. But I really liked the red from the box art, so I thought I'd give that a go. I did notice that I maybe should do the knee pad either black or white or something, just as an extra touch that. But I was actually, in the end, I think for what I wanted, it came out absolutely fine. It's quite, to be fair, it was quite a simple model to paint to a certain level, because there's not actually a huge amount on it. It is a detailed model in itself, but at the same time, it's quite I suppose simplistic detail. And I thought I think it looked nicer just being kind of more function over form. So yeah, very happy with how he turned out as well. So now I will show you a couple of other models that I've got on the go for the Templars, and we'll see where we're going next. So yeah, next, Sword Brethren. I've had a box of these knocking about for quite a while, which I haven't actually touched. And yeah, I'm planning to get a squad of 5 of these done. But actually, to be honest, I'm probably going to get another box and get a squad of 10 ready to go. Either run them in 2-5s, or if I want a bigger game, run them in a couple of squads of 5, or sorry, a squad of 10, I should say. Yeah, and I'm trying to give them good weapon variation. So these guys, I think we've got a power sword and a power maul on these guys. So I've got 3 more to do up from this. So I've been taking my time on these because there's so many options on this kit. It's ridiculous. And I wanted to try and pick the best ones that I wanted to make my Templars look good. So I'll be taking a bit more time on that. But yeah, so that plus finishing off the Contemptor here. And then, yeah, I'm not quite sure I'm going after. I do have one more Impulsors to do up as well, which is sitting in the battle box that came out as that full kit. So I'll probably get that done as well, just to get a few. I'm trying to get more models that I had lying around, sort of either redone or made up and finished, just so that I'm kind of got a clear slate to carry on this army. With regards to kind of where I want to head direction wise. Yeah, I actually had a lot of Firstborn Marines still to paint, which I'd been sitting on for a long time, but I hadn't really felt like painting them because of what I said before. I think I'm just going to not do them, and I think I'm going to continue buying Primaris based models now. I have a lot of Firstborn anyway, so I'm not really, I don't think I'm really adding to the army that much by painting more and more of the older units. So I'm going to stick with them and keep working through as whatever I've got left over to paint. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoy this little update to my Black Templars, and hopefully it won't be too long until the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.